In a cafe near the Louvre, an American tourist loudly asked the waiter, "Do you guys have normal coffee? Not this espresso stuff." The waiter, in polite English, explained that they serve espresso, cappuccino, and cafe cream. The tourist frowned. "No, I mean, like a large coffee. In a to-go cup. You know, like Starbucks." When the waiter tried to describe an Americano, the man brightened. Finally, something American. But when it arrived in a small porcelain cup, he exploded. "How is this small thing American? You're trying to cheat me out of caffeine." He pointed at the cup like it was a personal insult. "This country doesn't even get coffee culture." The waiter, in perfect English, said quietly, "Monsieur, we invented cafes." The American took a sip, grimaced, and muttered, "You should have asked us how to do it right." A friend of mine works at a restaurant in Tokyo that serves traditional Japanese set meals. One evening, an American couple walked in. The husband looked at the menu, frowned, and said, "Why are there no pictures? How are we supposed to order if you don't show the food?" The server handed him an English menu, which clearly had descriptions. He waved it off. "I don't read food poetry, I eat." He then ordered teriyaki chicken, but make it American-sized, stretching his hands apart like he was describing a shark. When the meal arrived, beautifully plated, delicate, he poked it with his fork. "This can't be right. I said American-sized." The server smiled and said, "Ah, yes, Japanese size. For Japanese stomach." The man glared and said, "Well, that's your problem." On a guided tour of the Colosseum, the Italian guide was describing Julius Caesar and pronounced it, Julius Kaiser. An American man interrupted loudly, "You mean Julius Caesar. You're saying it wrong." The guide laughed politely and explained that in Latin, it's pronounced with a hard K. The man rolled his eyes. "Well, I studied Latin in high school, and that's not how my teacher said it." The guide smiled and said, "Maybe your teacher was American?" The tourist didn't catch the sarcasm. Exactly, so she knew how to say it right. At a tapas bar in Madrid, an American woman wanted to order wine. She said to the waiter, "I'll have vino tinto, you know, red wine." The waiter nodded. She repeated it louder. "V nitrogen monoxide tinto." He nodded again. "Yes, senora." Unsatisfied, she kept going, enunciating every syllable like she was teaching phonics to a child. "Vino tinto." He finally brought the wine. She turned to her husband, proud. "See? You just have to speak confidently. They all understand if you're clear enough." Her husband whispered, "I think he understood the first time." She beamed. "Yeah, because I said it right." In Amsterdam, an American tourist was walking down the bike lane, waving at cyclists to go around. When a local nearly collided with him and shouted something in Dutch, the tourist yelled back, "Speak English, buddy. You're in Europe." Another cyclist called out in English, "You're walking in the bike lane." The tourist scoffed, "Yeah, well, in America, we walk wherever we want. Freedom of movement, ever heard of it?" Later, I saw him complaining to a cafe owner. "This city's so confusing. Why do you even need bike lanes?" The owner replied, "Because we use bikes." He shook his head. "Yeah, but cars are better." At a restaurant in Bangkok, an American woman ordered pad thai. When it arrived, she said, "Oh no, I didn't mean spicy Thai food. I meant like, American pad thai." The waiter blinked. "Madam, this is pad thai." She frowned. "No, the kind we have back home, orange noodles, peanut butter, chicken. You know, the normal one." The waiter smiled politely. "Maybe, that one is American Thai?" She gasped. "You mean we've been doing it wrong?" He just nodded and said softly, "Very wrong." On a train from Berlin to Munich, an American man was arguing with the conductor. The conductor had asked him to lower his voice in the quiet car. The man shouted back, "I'm not yelling, this is just how I talk." Everyone turned to stare. The conductor calmly repeated, "This is a quiet carriage." The American said, "You people really need to learn about freedom of speech." Then, turning to his wife, he said, "Can you believe this? They're silencing me for talking in English." At a small cantina in Oaxaca, an American tourist waved down the waiter and said, "Can I get chips and salsa before the meal?" The waiter smiled politely and brought them homemade tortillas and sauce. The man frowned. No, no, chips, like from a bag. Crunchy. Doritos? When told they didn't serve that, he said, that's insane. It's Mexico. You guys invented chips. The waiter, trying not to laugh, said, we invented tortillas. You invented Doritos. The man stared, then muttered, America really does make everything better. While on a tour in London, an American tourist interrupted the guide mid-sentence. You know, your accent's pretty thick. Have you ever thought about learning proper English? The guide blinked. You mean, like American English? Exactly, the tourist said. You guys sound like the historical version. We modernized it. The guide just smiled politely. Yes, sir, you improved on Shakespeare. The man nodded, missing the sarcasm completely. Exactly what I was saying. An American couple rented scooters in Santorini. They got lost and stopped to ask a local farmer for directions. The farmer didn't speak English well, so he tried using gestures. The husband grew frustrated and began repeating louder, beach, water, swim. When the farmer still looked confused, he cupped his hands like a megaphone and yelled, do you understand? The farmer pointed to the sea, clearly exasperated. The man turned to his wife, triumphant. See? You just have to speak louder. Works every time. In a Lisbon taxi, the driver was playing fado music, slow, emotional Portuguese songs. An American tourist leaned forward and said, can you change it to something English? Like pop or country? The driver didn't understand, so the tourist repeated louder, English song. English. The driver nodded politely but didn't change the station. After a minute, the tourist crossed his arms and said, so rude. I'm literally paying for this ride. He then put on his own Bluetooth speaker and blasted, Sweet Home Alabama. The driver just sighed. At Charles de Gaulle Airport, an American woman was trying to find her gate. The French staff member was doing his best in English. She said, can you just get someone who speaks normal English? He said, Madam, I am speaking English. She replied, no, you're trying. It's like English with extra letters. He calmly pointed to the sign that read, English Assistance. She said, oh, so you do speak English. Why didn't you say so? In Seoul, an American diner complained that the barbecue restaurant was doing it wrong. He said, in the US, they cook it for you. Here you gotta do it yourself. That's not service. The waiter explained that Korean barbecue is interactive and traditional. The man scoffed. Tradition is fine, but where's the convenience? In America, we get both. The waiter smiled and said, yes, sir. You get fast food. The man nodded proudly. Exactly. At a gelateria in Florence, an American woman asked for cookie dough gelato. The man behind the counter said gently, we don't have that flavor, senora. Maybe tiramisu? She sighed dramatically. You call yourself an Italian ice cream shop and you don't have cookie dough? That's like a pizza place without pepperoni. The man smiled. In Italy, we have many flavors, but not American ones. She rolled her eyes. You guys should really take notes from Dairy Queen. At an office in Helsinki, a visiting American consultant found the coffee break awkwardly quiet. He said loudly, man, you Finns really need to lighten up. In the US, coffee time is networking time. No one responded. They were enjoying the silence. So he stood up, clapped his hands, and said, okay. Let's go around and share our favorite weekend plans. One Finnish engineer finally said, my plan was silence. You ruined it. The American laughed nervously. Ha, good one. The Finn wasn't joking. I was working at a hotel in Rome when an American woman approached the front desk looking furious. She said, I've been asking the maid for towels for half an hour and she just keeps nodding like she understands but doesn't do anything. I asked how she'd asked. She said, I told her toe else. Toe else. You know, the normal way. When I explained the maid didn't speak English and maybe she could try gesturing, the woman huffed and said, I did. I even yelled it slower. She genuinely believed volume equaled translation. While visiting the Louvre, an American man stopped in front of the Mona Lisa and said loudly, I don't get it. It's smaller than I expected. When a French guide gently said, "Oui, c'est petit mais très célèbre." The man frowned and said, "Hey, speak English, buddy. We're in a tourist spot." When the guide replied, "Monsieur, we are in France," the man smirked and said, "Yeah, well, that's your problem." On the Tokyo metro, an American couple kept loudly saying, "Why is everyone so quiet?" It's creepy. When their friend whispered, "That's just how it is here. People respect silence," the man said, "Respect silence? That's just rude. If no one talks, how do you make friends?" He then began singing Sweet Caroline to loosen everyone up. The entire carriage stared in horrified silence while he yelled, "They're shy, huh?" At a seaside restaurant in Santorini, an American family complained that the menu had too much Greek on it. The father snapped his fingers at the waiter and said loudly, "English. Do you have steak?" The waiter replied in perfect English, "Yes, sir, we have steak." The father blinked and said, "Oh, you do speak English. You should start with that." As if the waiter should open every table greeting by confirming he speaks his language. An American businessman got into a taxi in Paris and told the driver, "Take me to the Louvre." The driver didn't respond immediately because of traffic. The man leaned forward and yelled, "The Louvre. Big museum. Art." The driver turned around, deadpan, and said, "Oui, monsieur. I know." The man sat back, muttering, "They pretend not to understand until you say it right." At a supermarket in Berlin, an American woman at checkout said, "You can just bag those, thanks." The cashier didn't respond. She repeated louder, "Bag those, thanks." A local man behind her leaned in and whispered, "You have to bag them yourself." She turned to him and said, "Then what's she even doing here?" Completely unaware that self-bagging is normal in Germany. On a train from Madrid to Seville, an announcement came on in Spanish, "Próxima parada, Córdoba." An American passenger immediately pressed the emergency intercom and said, "Can we get that in English?" When the conductor arrived, the man said, "You should at least tell us the stops in American." The conductor simply pointed to the LED sign that said, "Next stop, Córdoba," in English underneath. The man muttered, "Yeah, well, maybe say it louder next time."